We are live and on scene here with Paradigm of Profit at Vernon Williams' office. And this is the Wellness and Aesthetics Medical Center on San Antonio's far north side. It's a beautiful center, and it houses many, many different services that we can't wait to tell you all about today. But let's get to the real point that we're here, which is to introduce you to a very successful entrepreneur. This gentleman has been a physician for many years now and has reached many different levels of success throughout his career, has certainly merited many accolades as well. So we're super excited to teach you how he's been successful. He'll be able to talk to you guys directly about that himself, but he's also going to teach you how he has the uncanny ability to hone in on different opportunities when most others, frankly, have missed it. So without further ado, this is Dr. Vernon Williams. Let's take a look at his brief bio roll in just a few moments.
I was born in Trinidad and Tobago in the West Indies. And when I was about 9 years old, I got cut on my heel. And when I went to the doctor, he sewed it up. But you know what really excited me was the smell of the ether. And ever since then, I wanted to become a doctor. So I was a traditional physician up until I got a tumor in my brain called a pituitary tumor. And that's for the first time I was a patient. And after 10 years of my specialist taking care of me, I realized that I wasn't getting better. And so that's when I decided I needed to change what I was doing. The big difference in what I do and what I used to do and what traditional medicine is. Traditional medicine, you go see your doctor, he sees 50, 60 patients a day, and he has about 4 to 5 minutes with you. Everything's done that 4 to 5 minutes. In my practice, I only see about 4 or 5 patients a day, 4 or 5 a day. There are 7 billion people in this world. You are an individual, there's no one else like you. So your program will be completely different from anyone else's program. As a physician, we're used to just open up your shop and patients just show up. We don't do insurance. And because we don't do insurance, we cannot just open up the doors because people don't just show up, because people are used to having insurance company take care of their bills. So therefore, I have to actually recruit by being on the internet and doing things that other doctors do not have to do. I train my staff so they know what's going on. It has helped me build my practice because my staff is very friendly, they're knowledgeable, they provide you with the information you need, and whenever there's a question that goes beyond them, they inform me and I call you back on the phone and I discuss it with you. You definitely need help with a lot of things. Even though I feel pretty strong about it, sometimes outside help is very, very important, and you do need a team around you to do that. The purpose is to help fix people's problems, make them younger and healthier. Well, my passion is growing younger. That's where my passion is, because I've experienced it myself and I want my patients to experience it. I don't want to be normal. I want to be abnormal, Abby. You know why? Because normal is what the average person is. To be successful in life, you have to be abnormal. One of the most important things for a business is making sure that the people that you work with are people that are fun-loving and that you love being around. Because I don't hang around any negative people. My staff are happy, they give off energy, and I think it's so important that your staff is engaged in what you're doing.
So I'm going to kick it back to these awesome individuals over here, professionals. Dr. Sunita Trevino. She is an upcoming author of many, many successful books. And also, we've got Dr. Vernon Williams. Now, Dr. Sunita also is the owner of the Brain Coach here in San Antonio. And so she's going to talk to you more about the neuroscience angle of what's going on here. And of course, we have Dr. Williams, and you're going to learn about him as well. So without further ado, Dr. Sunita, take over the show.
Okay, great. And I just want to thank you. We had this idea as a neuroscientist, as a psychologist and counselor, one of the things I realized that the entrepreneurial mindset is a unique mindset. And but all of us have the ability to go for it, to create a vision that we have into reality. So I got the idea with Carlo to feature entrepreneurs that are doing amazing things. Dr. Vernon Williams has been a mentor for me. I originally practiced neurofeedback and learned how to do brain maps here in his office. So to have you on the show was really just an honor to have you. And so just to go over some basic information, the clinic is called the
Wellness and Aesthetic Medical Center,
and it's located at 540
Oak Center Drive, San Antonio, Texas, Suite 114 in 78258.
Excellent, excellent. And you're on Facebook, Instagram. You've got different ways to reach you, right?
Our cell phone number, actually our office number is 210-495-8558, 210-495-8558, or you could reach me on the web at www.field29.com, field29.com.
Excellent. And when we were asking you if you could describe what you do here in one sentence, what would it be?
I optimize people.
Excellent. And when you say optimize people, and the first time I heard you say that, I was thinking like a car gets optimized. What does that mean? What do you mean by optimizing people?
Well, optimizing means that you make things work the best that they can. Someone who runs a 100-yard dash, the winner is very optimized. His body is perfect condition. But what I do is I take you from where you are,
Right.
and I make things work like if you just got a tune-up.
Right, right. And today I really want to talk to you about what I call teaching moments. All of us have this time in our life and experience, and that's where we get the catapult, the jumping point for our business. Dr. Williams is a great example. And Dr. Mills, you had told me before, what was the inspiration? Share with the audience, what was that moment when you knew you wanted to be a doctor?
Well, I was in Trinidad in West Indies, and I was cutting grass with my cousin, and he sliced my heel. And then I went to see the doctor, and he sewed it up. But the smell of the ether in the room is what got me really excited. And from that day, all I ever wanted was to become a doctor.
And when you shared that story with me, what was it that he did? There's some inspiration, and I'm going to tell you, all of you that are watching and wondering, should you open a business, or if you already have a business, lock into that moment when you were inspired. So tell us a little bit, do you remember that moment when you were inspired?
Yes, you get your heel get cut, and that instant says you're about to die. I mean, my life, I was only 9 years old.
Right.
I felt I was about to die.
Yeah, it was the end of the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I go to this doctor, and he did miracles, and he fixed me up, and it was suddenly, whoa. And that's what really made the difference.
And that's exactly what it looks like. You're young. This is usually when it happens. And something impacts you, and whether you know it or not, and I hope today you begin to crystallize, when was that? But you were inspired. And you felt like he made a difference. When I look at, if you think about what you do today, when I say optimize, can you all see that what he is doing today at his practice is a fulfillment of what he experienced when he was a 9-year-old? He optimizes people. He gives them the best life possible. And for a 9-year-old, that's what that doctor did. He might have put in a few stitches, but to you, he got you back on the road, right? And gave you your life back.
Mm-hmm. I was terrified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you talk a little? So, I don't know if you guys heard what Dr. Williams said. He was terrified. By the way, these moments, the way that you know them, they're full of emotion. They're very intense. Look into your past and see when you got when that got created. And so I'm going to ask him a question, and I want you to listen from a 9-year-old little boy that just got inspired. Dr. Williams, what would you say is different about you and your competition? Why are you different?
I think that I'm different in the sense that, what I do is I put myself in my patient's position. And because of that, I look at it, if I am upset or something, I know the patient is. If the patient having pain, I can feel the pain. So I can feel what's going on with them. And because of that, I make sure that I take care of them the way I would want someone to take care of myself. So in our practice, there's nothing that happens here that I don't do first, or my office manager, she's my female guinea pig, does. And you know why that is? What do? I optimize people's body. I work on sexual health. I work on age management. I work in aesthetic. Now, who should look the best? I don't want you to look better than I do, so I gotta make sure I look good. Alright? Sexual health. That's sex. Well, who wants to perform better? Should I want my patient to perform better than me? No, I gotta perform better. Age management. Age management is just about making yourself younger and healthier. Well, what do I want to do? I want to look younger and healthier. So everything I do, I want to make sure that I'm the best, because I can't make someone better if I don't be part of it.
Yeah, what I hear is that you always want to get how they're feeling. And I think, again, that goes back to that moment in your life, and there may be several for a lot of you out there, but these teaching moments created, last show we talked about your values, but inside of Dr. Vernon Williams was created a vision, a need to fulfill on that vision. And today it's that fulfillment of that vision is this amazing office that you're seeing, and the way, and I hope we get a tour. We'll show you the facility, but you can look at all the different areas. And he mentioned aesthetics, he mentioned sexual health. Now those are all priorities to him because he's experienced that as a value. And you can see he's in my notes here, it's very important for him to educate his patient. As a 9-year-old child, can you imagine, your life just got saved according to you as a 9-year-old child. So you wanted information, you wanted to know, so you can see, Dr. Williams, that you've actually lived out the wish of that little boy.
Now that you say it, you're absolutely right. I never looked at it from that aspect.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely right.
Yeah. So, be a child again. Remember what inspired you and go back to that. In the world of business, it's actually called a flow. When you're fulfilling on something that got locked into your brain and it's hardwired. And actually you've taught me so much about the brain. It's actually probably that memory of a 9-year-old. If you imagine the brain, it's super thick. Like that neuronal pathway is super thick. And Dr. Williams has built a life around it and a practice around it. Now, I know that you had some other problems. Tell us a little bit about, as you got older, that even furthered your values and your desire to help people.
Well, in 1991, I got diagnosed with a pituitary tumor. And that tumor, your pituitary is your brain's central point. And it regulates things. Because of the tumor, my hormones were all off kilter. I gained about 90 pounds. My estrogen was very high. My testosterone was very low. My breast was like a D cup. And to me, my life was over as a physician. For the first time as a physician, I was a patient.
Right.
And as a patient, over the next 10 years, I was seen by an endocrinologist specialist. And I thought I would be better, but I was getting worse.
Right.
And I said to myself, something? I got to fix myself. And that's when I really started changing what I did. I started going to CMEs, continuing medical education, started to look up things, to review things, and try to make things better for myself. And so that's what started me on this route, because I needed to fix myself.
Yep. Yes. Do you see the parallels? So he had that experience happen when he was 9 years old. Then in 1991 had a pituitary gland issue, and the things that affected him, that personally affected him, are the things that he specializes in today. And that's totally the right way to build a business. Follow your passions. The theme, the sub theme of our show is purpose, passion, and when you pursue your purpose and you have passion, profit will follow. We believe that money follows passion. And it's very clear that you have followed your passions.
Yes, the problem was what the endocrinologist, he was putting a Band-Aid over my problem.
Right.
He wasn't trying to dig deep to find the cause of my problem. He wasn't trying to fix the problem. And I learned that if we don't fix problems, our patient will get worse. So my purpose is to get in there, find out the cause of the problem, fix the problem so the problem is no longer a problem. That way, if you have a headache, Tylenol will help the headache, but Tylenol did not tell you what caused the headache.
Right.
All right?
Right.
If you have heartburn, antacids will help the problem, but it doesn't fix the problem. So my goal in this practice is always first to fix the problem.
Yep.
That way the problem is no longer a problem.
Yep. And that actually happened in that when Dr. Williams had that pituitary gland issue, he told you it got worse. And the reason it got worse is because he wasn't getting the answer to the cause. And Dr. Williams, you actually told me one time, you said the body doesn't need Tylenol. Tylenol is a mask. The body needs the cause of the need for the Tylenol to be fixed. And that's actually, again, I know I'm probably saying this over and over again. I want it to be really clear. What you see here is a perfect example of what we talk about in the show. He experienced this. It left a need in him. In his desire to serve people, he took what he saw as a logical need. What are the needs that you see? What are the memories that you have? And look what he did. You gained weight during that time, so you specialize in weight loss. You had the breasts happen, so you help women and men with that. Sexual dysfunction, all the things that personally affected you is your fight today.
Yes, and that's because I realized that, and I always say to people, when you're sick, you don't want sex. Sick people do not want sex. But the healthier you are, the more sex you want. And so therefore, when I first started out with this practice, we first had a lot of sick patients. And when the patients got healthy, then they wanted to look better so that they can get more sex. And they work both ways. So that's why I do sexual health, I do wellness, and I do age management, and I also do aesthetics, because they all go together. Healthy people want all those things.
Yeah. Well, and I think because I know your story very well, and when I look at your life experience, those are things that affected you and mattered to you. And when you said earlier to us, he really does feel, he puts himself in the patient's place. And I think that's because when being a 9-year-old, that doctor really put himself in that little boy's place. See, what he got, he wants to give back. One time I told you I was in pain. And I was saying a lot of things, but the minute I said, and I'm in pain, he stopped dead in his tracks and said, "You're in pain?" Now, why did he do that? Because he hates to be in pain. I know that you hate to be in pain.
Oh, my goodness.
So I could say the world is on fire and my little toe hurts, but when I said I'm in pain, you stopped because you connected with that because you hate pain.
Oh, pain is my buzzword. I'm sorry. I'll do anything to stop people's pain.
Yeah. Well, you personally hate pain. So, and you told me you have a very low pain tolerance. So
I'm bad.
Yeah, but that's good for the patient, though, you see, because you don't like pain. You make sure that we don't have pain. So, when you say that you really put yourself in the patient's place. You really do. And I believe for our benefit as your patients today, it's because that doctor, when you were 9 years old, put himself in your place. And you're just paying it forward, really. That's what all good business is paying it forward and completing that. One of the things that we ask all entrepreneurs is, what are some of the challenges you've had as an entrepreneur?
Well, there's something called the standard of care.
Yes.
Standard of care means that all the other doctors in your area treat patients the same way. So in other words, if you go out of the standard, you're considered a problem. So that's likened to, say, in school, where a normal would be a B and C grade.
Right.
Right? But don't you want to get an A grade?
Right.
Well, in medicine, an A grade would be not within the standard of care.
Right.
And so physicians who want to get their patients on A and they do things that not considered standard of care,
Right.
they can get into trouble with it.
Right.
But I personally believe that medicine is like an iPhone, all right? It's always being updated. No one wants an iPhone that's 10 years old. Well, in the same token, you shouldn't want a doctor that treats you the way he used to do it 20 years ago. Because medicine changes, and because of that, you have to go along with the new things because it's going to be better. I say something to my patients all the time. If you want to live forever, just don't die.
Right. Right. Well, and the lesson, because not everybody out there is going to be a doctor, but what I hear and how this applies to our audience, what Dr. Williams said was the standard of care. In other words, in the medical profession, there's what insurance companies define really as the standard of care. But the lesson for us to learn that are not necessarily all doctors is to think outside the box. And I know that Dr. Williams actually created a book about his ideas that are outside the box, that are revolutionary. So what you need to know is that one of the challenges you're going to have in your entrepreneurial pursuit, but in anything, is there's certain ways that things are supposed to be done. Innovation is what leads people to be amazing entrepreneurs, and you're doing some innovative things that are off the wall. You want to talk a little bit about some of your innovation?
I firmly believe in energy medicine. Energy medicine is the future of medicine. Every living thing has an energy signature. If you know the energy signature of something, you can make it better or you can destroy it. Just like in noise cancellation software, you put the headset on, all the ambient noise have their own signature, frequency signature. You match it with a negative 180 degrees frequency, and that destroys the external sounds. Now that you don't hear anything from outside. Now you can listen to music or listen to the person speak. In the same token, your muscle cells have an energy frequency. Your bone has an energy frequency. Bacteria, cancer cells, all the cells in your body has a frequency. If we know the frequency of that cell, we could make that cell better, i.e. we could make your muscle cells better, we could make your brain cells better, we can make your kidney cells better. In the same token, we can destroy a bacteria, a virus, a cancer cell by giving it a negative 180 of that frequency. And so energy medicine is a huge part of what I do here at Wellness.
It's phenomenal. And what he's saying is, and this gets a little bit into quantum physics, but it's so innovative. Every illness that we have has a frequency. Every illness. And if whatever frequency that is, if we can negate it with the opposite frequency, we actually can kill it out. It's very innovative. It's the latest thing those are some of the latest things that are happening in the field, in the medical field. So you are outside the box, sir, very outside the box. But I'm going to tell you, combine your passion, be innovative. And the first thing we asked him is, what is the challenges? He said he doesn't want to fit in the box. The box is the challenge. So he is outside the box and combining passion. Now, the important thing is not just to be outside the box, but to do it with compassion, passion for what matters to you. A couple of other things that you said were challenges, and I think you've already covered them, was the healthcare paradigm, where people think that it has to be a certain way. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I say I only see about 4 to 5 patients. When someone comes in here, we spend about 3 hours together. And I spend 2.5 hours with that person one-to-one. We talk about everything. But the first 30 minutes, I try to dispel whatever they knew about medicine. Because what they know about medicine is not what's going to get them to where we need to get. So I tell them the things that will actually make them think about medicine differently. For instance, let me give you an example. Do you know that your skin is made of skin cells? Yeah. They live 30 days and then they die. So you can actually make your skin better.
Right.
So when you see a female with a beautiful face,
yes,
and then you look at her neck and her chest, and you say, oh my goodness. And her hands, you say, she's a lot older than I thought she was. Well, what has she been doing? She's been making her face younger by giving her good raw materials. She just forgot her neck and her chest and her skin. So over time, her face got younger, her neck and chest got older.
Yeah.
But it's not just your skin. Your bone is made of bone cells. They live 1 year. So every year, you get a new bone. Every single year.
Right.
Your kidney is made of kidney cells. Your liver is made of liver cells. As a matter of fact, all your body is made of cells, and every time they divide, you have an opportunity to make them younger and healthier.
Right.
Yes, you can grow younger.
Yes. And again, and I want to check on our time. How are we doing? We got time?
5 minutes.
About 5 minutes. We're going to wrap up soon.
Yep.
What you hear is a lot about what we talk about. Dr. Williams really looked at what personally bothered him. He didn't like it that a doctor would give him a temporary solution. So today his practice is about permanent solutions. He didn't like it that they were using ideas and theories that were outdated. So today you're on top of the latest in medicine. So, when you're looking at, even if it's not a business, but if you're taking on any endeavor, what personally bothers you about that? Solve that problem. Today you've heard Dr. Williams' story. You've heard about him when he was 9 years old in Trinidad. And you heard about when he was in 1991. I'm not going to guess how old. He's 29 and a half. He's 29 and a half again. So I'm not sure how old he was, but the point is that, again, he saw a cause. He personally experienced something that wasn't right. What is it that you experience out there? What injustice have you suffered? And for a 9-year-old, that was a trauma. What is it in your life that you're passionate about? Go fix that and create a business with it, or at least help a business owner add to their business in it. Carl, is there anything else you would like to add?
I'm pretty sure you guys
killed it.
Yeah, y'all killed it. You crushed it today. It was just an honor to be here in this room, learning from you, Dr. Williams, learning about the different strategies that you've employed, to maintain the business for so long. I had the honor of talking to Dr. Williams, I guess, a couple of days ago when I came and did the interview, and I learned a great deal about it. But one of the things that stuck out is your belief in building a team. How essential that is, because you don't know everything there is to know about everything. And even though you're a pretty capable gentleman, but none of us really know truly everything there is to know about everything. So we have to surround ourselves with good people. I also personally appreciated when you talked about your staff and how you train them, you invest in them. Because at the end of the day, that pays off dividends. If you have a well-trained staff, then when you're not around, when you're not available, they're still able to continue to run the business. And in that regard, you leverage yourself. So I really, that was one of the biggest takeaways from the other day. But aside from that, I just wanted to thank both of you for this morning's show. Thank all of you guys for tuning in and watching Paradigm of Profit week to week.